moment, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope this comes to you and finds you in good spirits, good joy today. It's a little chilly where I'm at. I'm not that far from you folks in Buffalo. I'm just in Ohio here. It is cold, so I got the hat on. Even in the house, it's a little bit chilly. So today, we're going to work on releasing the weak's tension. We're going to start upper body. We're going to focus on wrist. Those of you who've been typing a lot, some of these things are going to be helpful for your wrist, your arms, shoulders, neck. We're going to focus on the lower back today. So, functional yoga is about how do we move and keep our functional life. How do we sit in a chair for hours and do those things that will not keep us in this tight little ball, but we can get up, we can do some movement. Because it's nice to be able to go to the grocery store and not feel the aches and the pains, right? So today we're going to start with just a big stretch. Go ahead and bend your knees a little bit. Just give yourself a nice stretch. Fun little fact, whenever you feel that tightness in your chest, your shoulders, and you get a good stretch and you let go, a lot of times some people start to feel lightheaded if they haven't stretched in a while. It's a combination of things going on there. One, you're probably not breathing. So what you want to do is exhale, inhale, especially on the release of the stretch. Make sure you're breathing out through the mouth. It's going to keep the carbon dioxide from building up in your brain. Two, you're starting to feel the release of that lactic acid. It's starting to overwhelm your blood as it releases into the body. So it's always good to stretch throughout the day. If you're waiting until you get that big final stretch, you've waited probably a little too long. Normally you'll just feel that in the mornings. That's because you've been sleeping for 6 to 8 hours and you haven't moved. Your body has come to a real snail's pace in its internal functions. So we're going to take another big stretch again, reach up towards the ceiling. Okay. Some of you may also notice that when you stretch, because your back is tight, you're starting to pull up through the hips. So you'll stretch and go like that. You're probably also locking your knees. What you want to do is relax the knees, get a good stretch, tuck the hips under. Okay. Go ahead and relax the shoulders as well. Great. Relax the arms all the way down. And go ahead and shake it out. Good. Depending on what room you're in, it's nice to have something like a table, even a door handle, a chair, in case you need to hold yourself for balance, right, as we're doing a lot of these stretches. So right now what I'll recommend is to have something close by. Okay. We're going to work our way stretching down to the legs. When we get to the legs, I'm going to want you to hold on to a chair. Okay? I don't want you to hold on to a table. Okay. So we're going to go right arm, my right arm all the way up to the ceiling, and bend the left leg. Okay. The nice thing about functionality is you can do a lot of the same things over and over again. And you're still going to get a great benefit from it. It's different in the sense of like strength training. Right? With strength training, if you're doing the same repetitive motions with the same weight over and over again, the muscle starts to not work as hard over time because it's getting used to that weight. It's not necessarily the case for stretching. Because our bodies tighten up throughout the day, you can do that same stretch every single day and get the same benefit from it. Which is the reason why, if you watch some of the previous videos, I always try to incorporate these up and down stretches. Because these are things that I want you to start to learn and ingrain in your brain that these are good things. And they're simple, so you don't have to give up a lot to gain a lot. Okay, so we're stretching up with the left arm, we're going to reach down with the right arm. Go ahead and switch. Make sure you're breathing. If you're stuffed up, you can go in and out through the mouth. If not, go in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. So we're going to do 4 on each side. Go ahead and stretch. Remember to bend the opposite knee. So if my left arm is up, my right knee bends, my toes are on the ground, my heel comes off the floor. Good. Switch to the other side. And you should start to feel that stretch through the hips to the bottom of your rib. switch again. And you should be noticing that it's getting a little looser the more times we do this. And we're not staying very long because we don't want to overstretch the body. Go ahead and switch again. We got one more on each side. This will be the last one with the right arm up. And switch again. Good. Nice job, everybody. I want you to take your fingers, clasp them together. You're going to turn your palms facing out. Get a good stretch through the shoulders, and then you're going to press up towards the ceiling and press through your palms. Good. Again, bend those knees. The reason your knees keep locking is because of that tightness through your hamstrings and your back. And so as we begin to move, it'll be a little easier to keep those knees bent throughout the course of this next 50 or so minutes. And go ahead and relax the arms all the way down to your side. You might be able to feel some of that blood rushing to your fingers. Take your right palm out in front of you, palm facing out, and then you're going to take your left hand, grab the top of your fingers, and just pull back a little bit. You're going to get a stretch through the bottom of your wrist here. Keep a slight bend in your elbow, let your shoulder relax. And breathe. So we're going to hold this for about 5 to 7 seconds. Just a good couple of breaths in and out. Good. Slowly release the fingers, and you're going to point your hand downward. Same thing. This time you're going to push your fingers towards yourself. You're not pushing too hard, just enough to get a little bit of a stretch. There's a lot of tiny muscles and bones here in the wrists, so you don't want to overexert them. This is a great one to do by your desk. If you're writing a lot, if you're typing a lot, if you're driving a lot as well, your hands tend to stay stiff on the steering wheel, so this is a good one for releasing a lot of that tension. Okay, go ahead and just roll your wrist to the right and roll your wrist to the left, and then up and down. Again, remember to relax your shoulder. You can even have your elbow in by your side. It's going to start to strain your shoulder a little bit. We don't want you to be tensing up through the neck. Good. We're going to switch hands. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Palms facing out. Grab the fingers, relax the shoulder, and just press up and through to your body. Relax the tension in your fingers and get a little bit more stretch to the palm. You don't have to go so far back. You're just giving a little bit of a stretch. Good. Fingers pointing down. And same thing here. Remember to breathe. Yeah. And roll out the wrist. So I started out going to the left, and now I'm going to the right. Up and down. Great. Now go ahead and just give me a nice little shoulder roll up and back. So go up with your shoulders, pinch your shoulder blades back, and round down your back. Go ahead and do that 4 times. And going up, back, and down. Up, back, and then down. At this point, we're using our shoulder blades to massage traps the back of the neck. Okay. Once you've done that 4 times, I want you to grab your hands behind you, pull down through the shoulders. You just clasping your hands behind you. If you're unable to do that, whether it's a shoulder injury, whatever the reason may be, if you've got a strap nearby or a belt, or if you have something for your yoga mat that keeps it rolled up like I do, it's going to be a great modification. Okay, so you're just going to grab here and try to make it as tight as you can. So start pulling those shoulders together and then pull down through the shoulders. You can feel that stretch through your neck, through your shoulders. Right, bend your knees and breathe. So when you breathe, you want to inhale and pull your stomach out. Exhale, let your stomach come back towards your spine. This is a deep belly breath. It's going to help you to get more oxygen into your body. So while we're pulling down through the shoulder stretch, I now want you to take your left ear to your left shoulder. Left ear to your left shoulder. You're not going to pull all the way over, you're just allowing your ear to drop towards your shoulder. Because you're pulling down through the arms, you're already going to feel a very intense stretch. Keep an eye on your hips and your lower back. If you start to tense up, or you're noticing that you're pulling up and back, go ahead and bend your knees and tuck your hips under. Inhale, slowly bring your head towards the middle. Exhale, down to the right. Bring your head back towards the middle. We're going to bring our chin to our chest. If at any time you need to pause, pulling your shoulders down and let them relax, go ahead and do that, and then come back to it. So bring our chin down to our chest. You're going to feel it in the back of your neck here. Go ahead and lift your chin up. You're going to raise your chin towards the ceiling just a bit. You can feel it in the front part of your neck. If it's pulling too much, you can open your mouth and slowly work on closing your mouth. This is going to give you a nice extra stretch throughout the neck, especially under the jaw. Who knew we had so many muscles all the way through the body, right? Exhale, come down towards the middle. Great. Go ahead and relax your shoulders. If you were holding your strap, you can put that off to the side for now. We're going to do it without stretching through the shoulders. We're going to do that same sequence once again. So bring your left ear to your left shoulder. I'm going to breathe. When your body is under tension or some sort of physical pain, mild or not, our breath is the first thing to go. We usually hold on to our breath first. And we start depriving our body of incoming oxygen and building up on carbon dioxide. So make sure to breathe. Go ahead and bring your head up towards the middle, right ear to the right shoulder. If you're someone where that stretch was a little too intense, pulling the shoulders down, you can just continue to work on this area here, bringing your ears to your shoulders and working through the neck. Over time, that should start to loosen up just a little bit more. Come back up towards the middle, chin to your chest. Up towards the ceiling. Back towards the middle. Go ahead and just swing your shoulders, swing your arms back and forward. Just get some motion going, increasing some of the blood flow. slider, come at a diagonal, and then back down, go back and forward. Out wide at an angle. Just helping you to use the different parts of the shoulder. And back and forward. Great. Take a quick water break. If you don't have any water, use this as a great time to pause and go get some water. It's always good to have water near you, and so to flush the system out. Great. Go ahead and grab your tennis ball. Preferably one that's a little more firm. Okay. This one for me has a little bit more give in it. I don't know if you can see that. You can press through the tennis ball. This one has more give, can't go nearly as far. This is going to be a great one. Okay. Put it in your palm. You're going to roll out the pectoral muscles. Up by the collarbone, over towards the middle of your chest, where your middle of your sternum is. Roll out those muscles. Okay, so it's a two-pronged approach here. And a lot of times, because we're so overdeveloped here in the front, we start to pull forward and strain out the back. Especially if you're at a desk a lot or in the car a lot, you're going to notice when you're sitting for so many hours, you're starting to pull forward. A lot of us are on the computer more than we've ever been, so we start to pull forward, and it starts to strain out the muscles in the back and also across the pectorals. So we're going to give ourselves a little help. We're going to roll out those muscles, a little self-massage here. And don't press so hard that you're hurting yourself, but give a nice firm press. Roll out. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I prefer going in circles and then the up and down motion. That's my preference. So you're going to find what works for you. Come over to the other side. Noticing that I've got, if I'm working on my right side, I'm using my left hand. Okay? That way I'm not just over here and straining out the right side of my body, but it's natural for me to go across. Remember to breathe and bend those knees. If you find any tender spots in this area, you can stay a little longer and work on those areas. Come back over to the first side. For me, that was my left. And it's a little easier through the side, or is it still just this tense? And don't worry, you're not going to give yourself a heart attack by pressing too hard. That's why those muscles are there. But again, you don't want to press so hard that you're damaging your ribs. Back over one more time. Great. If you've got a wall nearby, take that tennis ball. You're going to press your glutes into the ball, into the wall. Okay, and you're going to roll side to side and up and down. Go in a circular motion, but we're going to work out those glute muscles. Some of you, there's going to be a lot of tension. I mean, the more we sit, the tighter that area gets, and not in the fun way. Just those muscles get tight. It starts to pull on your lower back. So those balls are a nice way to break up and loosen some of that tight fascia, some of the tight muscles. Again, don't press so hard that you're damaging the muscles. And how do you know if you're pressing so hard? If you're in excruciating pain. That's a good indicator. But if you give me a nice firm grip and you can handle it, that's A-okay. Then we're going to switch over to the other side and get the other side. So for me, I'm starting to notice that I'm loosening up here in the lower back. If your ball keeps falling and rolling away, that's okay. Just pick it up, place it right back where it was, and roll out again. Nice thing about a tennis ball is that it has some grip into the wall, but depending on your wall situation, it may slide. And my feet are going to continue to go the same direction. Okay, so try not to have your toes flailing out either side. That's going to have your hip turning in opposite directions. So you want your knees and your feet to follow the same direction. Going back over to the first side. Give yourself a little break. Now we're back over there. The more intense it is for you, the more breathing that should happen. It encourages the brain to use the parasympathetic nerves, which promotes relaxation throughout the body instead of more tension. Over to the other side. See, now my shirt is getting caught under this tennis ball, so you may have to lift your shirt just a little bit. And there are 3 levels to your glute muscles. Okay, so there's medius, maximus, minimus. The minimus is at the top, medius through the middle, maximus towards the bottom. Okay. So depending on where you roll this ball through any one of those levels, you may feel it more intense or less intense. Very good. Come off the wall, push your ball off to the side. Have your hands on your hips and circle through. Give our hips a nice good circle. After coming off the wall, it should be a little easier to circle with your hips. This is going to help to loosen up using your hip bones. Okay, so there's parts of your back and your hips we're not able to get to with the ball just because I don't want to hurt your spine. So we're going to use our own body structure to help us out. So we're going to go 4 or 5 times going to the left, and then we'll switch directions. So I've got one more time around. Making sure to breathe. If your toes are coming up or you're noticing that it's super tense when I come around the back or my glutes are clenching, go ahead and slow it on down and relax through that area. Okay, it's your body telling you that that is the area where it needs the most work. Go ahead and switch directions. Keep those knees bent, toes facing forward so your knees can stay forward. Good. Have your hand on your hip again. We're going to tuck the hip under and hold for about 5 seconds. Take a nice deep breath. And relax. Good. Go ahead and tuck that hip under again and hold for 5 seconds as you breathe. Relax there. Go ahead and reach up with your right arm again. This time we're going to reach over to the left side. So right arm coming over to the left side. You can brace yourself with your hand on your thigh. So my left hand is on my thigh. Or you can let your arm hang down. So just reach over, nice good stretch. Bend the elbow, come back up to the top, going over to the other side. So left arm going over to the right. Nice deep breath. Exhale as you're coming down. Keep your ear by your shoulder. So you want to start shallow. So if you start shallow, you can always go deeper. If you start too far down, your neck will start to pull. There's really not anywhere for you to go. Bend the elbow, come on up. We're going to do each side 2 more times. Again, start shallow. Let's take it nice and slow. You don't want to overstretch the muscles here. Okay, so ear by the shoulder. Come on down. Back up to the top. Again, starting shallow, you're going to notice you go a little bit deeper each time. Okay, you don't have to go all the way over all at once. Okay, so start shallow, and it's easier to keep your ear by your shoulder. Elbow in, up and over. And back up to the top. You should be feeling it right here in the ribs towards the hips. You're going to take your left hand and your right hand, place it on your lower back. Left hand is over my left pelvic area, hip plate. Right hand over on this side. We're going to slowly press through to the left side, and I'm going to look over my left shoulder. So I'm pressing forward with my left hand through my left hip, and I'm looking over my left shoulder. I'm looking back. Nice and soft. Keep your knees bent. Go back to the middle. And press through to the right side. Back to the middle. We're going to reach down and touch your toes here. If you're someone who deals with high or low blood pressure or vertigo issues, take it nice and slow. This is a great place to have a table, a chair nearby, and you can place your hands on the table. Just take a few steps back, and then come to a half fold. It's still going to get a good stretch to the back. Pull it back to your hips, and just like so. So you're going to continue that stretch. If you're okay, bringing your head down, you're going to reach for your toes. You can brace yourself on your shins. So you reach all the way down. Keep the crown of your head going downward.
Okay.
You should feel it through the calf muscles. Nice deep breaths. Go ahead and bend the knees.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Place your hands on your shins. Lift your head up just a bit. Flatten out your back. Bend your knees. Come all the way up to the top. Bring your arms overhead as you breathe out through the mouth. Keep you from getting lightheaded.
Okay.
Exhale and down. This is a nice and easy 30-minute session. Okay, how quickly 30 minutes can go by. You got your neck loosened up a little bit. Started to move the hips, the ribs. You were able to do some deep breathing, and you were able to stretch out the shoulders and the back. So a lot can be done in 30 seconds, just in intentional movements. All right. Remember to drink some water. Breathe throughout the day. Your health is worth it. Thanks, everybody. Catch you next time.